think we're all set. Yep. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the trial itself of Case 4. It's been a few weeks. It went off the rails a little bit, but we're back. Finishing up, well, not finishing, but continuing at least. The fourth case of the first Great Ace Attorney game. We are investigating and defending a Japanese national who has been accused of stabbing someone in the back and then running away. The lady didn't die yet. But we've also investigated like where he was living, which was like right across the street. We investigated the landlord of that place. They had a fight. Don't really know how that's going to become relevant, but in an Ace Attorney game it kind of always does. Yeah, this guy, the guy with the drawn-on eyebrows, Mr. Natsume. Yeah. It'll be alright. Don't really know how we're gonna come away with this, but that's kind of the Ace Attorney journey anyways. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome to the end of a week. Welcome to a Friday. He was a cheerleader in a former life, or future life. He's got the poses all down. I ate dinner really fast before I came on here, which is why we're a few minutes late, but I'm sure I'll settle eventually. Honestly, yeah, I don't know what else to go through for the case, at least. It's right now pretty open and shut. We just have to use our limited evidence to refute, and also to deal with the jury, whoever they may be. Lord Van Zeeks is on the front page of every one. Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper of the Bailey, he stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday. I mean, I assumed it was to prosecute you, but now he's back and also still doing his own thing? So I don't know. There's obviously a reason. I just don't know. It's pretty suspicious. No doubt about it. I don't rub shoulders with Deathbringers. There's only really one other explanation. It can only be another example, Mr. Naruto, of your uncommon bad luck. Well, thanks for that. Just my luck. Why must I be represented by a man with such frail fortune? By the least lucky lawyer alive. Well, let's not forget that it was you, Mr. Natsume, who asked me to represent you. Yes, it's true I'm just a student new to London, with little in the way of experience or skills, or luck, but I promise you this. I will fight your corner until the bitter, and I will believe in you, Mr. Natsume. You're not alone here with us, Mr. Natsume. Whatever happens, we will always be on your side. Alright, well, let's go. Alright then, it is time. This is it. My second appearance in a British courtroom. 4th case overall. Yeah, still no idea what our best friend was coming over here for. Besides becoming a lawyer and learning the way of English law. Which seems just as bad as Japanese law. Which is also American law. Because the creators, the translators and the localizers made it so that Phoenix Wright is in San Francisco, and yet there's a convenient amount of Japanese imagery, history, iconography, and areas. But then his ancestor is definitely in Japan, so, you know, it is what it is. Hello, Dracula. Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you are a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago, a mere amateur. You have a point? Well, being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try to help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance. Yeah, I don't think arrogance is an appropriate description either. After all, in our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent. Very true. And a most fascinating, if dark, trial it was, too. Tragic conclusion came later, of course. Here's to the acquitted and his unfortunate, violent end. Fine Fettle. I know Feta. But, Fettle. Okay, so jury number 1 is our client from the previous case that we accused of murder. This seems not impartial. Oh, I thought that was the other one. I'm a peace-loving fellow. Someone directly with the case? Excuse me? It's quite possible the mustached foreigner did the deed. No, I need... Go back one. Go back one. Waiting for it. No doubt he did it anyway. Sorry. Didn't quite catch that. And the requisite old person. Excellent. The aged. Your opening statement, if you please, Lord Van Zeeks. Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with a rising power in the Just... Stop with the racism. Just get to the case. Our country has extended this foreign student the warmest of welcomes. Regrettably, the kindness has not been returned. In fact, this student is accused of a most sinister act. Plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street. A knife crime. I can tell you from bitter experience, those are the worst. Bloody oath, they are. Just look at that sallow complexion and short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese. Well, let's get it over with. Me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Well, sorry. Didn't quite catch that. Somehow even worse jury than last time. By a mile. It's incredible. Well, I'm going to call the first witness to the stand. I wonder if he'll be the prosecutor in part 2 as well. Game number 2, sequel, whatever. Name and occupation, please. Yes, sir. Murmur. Murmur. Alright, give us the events. The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green. Yeah, well, having been stabbed in the back by her attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That's 3 days ago now, and she's been comatose ever since. Her life is not in danger? Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Pray, elaborate on the details, Inspector. Show me the street map. As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago, at around 5 in the afternoon. I'm on the pavement running alongside a Briar Road, a wide thoroughfare for horse-drawn vehicles. Not long since it stopped snowing, as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Would you like to tell us why this happened, though? Luckily, the young lady's life was spared. She's currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals, but being unconscious as she is, we're not able to take a statement from her, of course. This is the case file with everything we know about the victim so far. Gimme, gimme. What of the weapon that was used? Sir, I have that here. It was removed from the victim's back. Go on, give it the evidence. Thank you kindly. Appreciate it. There isn't any motive. Okay. Your books. Okay. Young woman, all green, stop build, pavement. Reporting officer, Rowley Beat. Still unconscious. Details are unknown. Other signs of injury. Okay. I would like to pull this out, though. Bro, what'd they do? Clean this? A piece of the blade appears to be missing. You're right. Well spotted, Mrs. Sato. Wonder what could have happened to it. I think it'd still be lodged in the victim. Ooh, hope not. It sounds terribly painful. Okay, anything else that... No, that seems like the biggest thing. It didn't update anything, but we know. She's also a poor student. Hard to manage to see anything much worth pinching, my lord. Well, in that case, are we looking at some deep-seated resentment towards the victim? I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the defendant doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim. Yes. Well, if theft and grievance have been ruled out as the motive, what reason could Mr. Natsume possibly have had for stabbing the young woman? You arrest the man in spite of that, in a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way. God, even their... Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery. But your words have soured its hallowed bouquet. For it is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy handed here. Inspector Gregson, we want formal testimony. Said it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred, and there was an unusually light fog. Visibility was reasonably good, and there was no one else about but the victim and the accused. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. Big number of old books he just bought. He was on his way home from the bookshop, it seems. Just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him. Ah, yes. I can clearly see the books. All 3. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, nothing new there. Okay. See what we can do. Oop, not what I want to do. 5 o'clock in the afternoon when this occurred. There's a light fog. Display really good. No one else accused. Okay. We'll press there first. And then we'll start following up on the books. Gotta wait for the policeman. Witness. It's been dark already. No matter how light the fog might have been, no one could have seen. Well, aware of the situation on your tiny island at east. But here in the capital city of Great Britain, all main roads are illuminated in the night by gas streetlights. Prosecution believes there had been ample light by which to witness the crime. Yeah, we need those witnesses, and we need them bad. Okay, so it's all about the books. Now scattered belongings all over the floor. Those being a number of old books he just bought. So on his way home from the bookshop. Okay, we'll press on these last two and see if we get anything new. We've got a receipt, so if we can get him to slip up and say which books are there. If there's one that's not there, that's a mystery worth solving. Tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector. Well, if I must, I have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid. Bourbon Books, that's the closest second-hand shop. A little place on the corner of our road and Meerschaum Street. That's the... Oh, okay. So it happened across the street from the lodgings. Okay, but he didn't buy it at Bourbon. Which gives us, you know, momentary respite. Usually just momentary. And then they point out a much more obvious clue that ruins our plans and, you know, we go back to the drawing board. Most important point, the name. Gregson, may I ask you a favor? What? Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony? Please, maybe of vital importance. Oh, well, you know, I mean, yeah, could be a very important clue. I'll be honest, guys, I'm streaming today just because I really don't want to mow the lawn. Which is, again, the most suburban dad thing I can think of saying. But it's true. It's staring at me out the window. I don't like it. Alright. Bop, bop.
Objection.
There we go. Let me stop you there, Inspector Briggs. This is a receipt we found in Mr. Natsume's room. Issued on the day of the incident, details the purchase of 3 second-hand books. Found that in Q's room, did you? Yeah, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it. This sheet was issued from a bookshop called Your Books. Your, I presume? Yes, ma'am. So Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at a second-hand shop that day, but the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books. Yeah. Such a small place, didn't think the accused would have known about it.
Objection.
For what difference it makes? Where the man purchases musty tomes makes no difference in the final analysis. bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. They may not have passed the location. It depends on where the other bookshop is, but I do declare it may be a possibility. Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? What you just said? Well, absolutely. It could be right. Very powerful right there for you. Okay, I mean, you could have doubled back, gone down, whatever Calabash is there. You can clearly see now. Oh. I mean, it's possible now. I learned of these friends. Obviously, in training to be a clown, the way he regales us with such witticisms. To your future career in the circus. There's no doubt he still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed. Are we... Yeah, I mean, I guess, but... It could change. What's ready for my learned, if somewhat slow, Nipponese friend? Good lord, dude. How many glasses do you go through? Go see an ophthalmologist. As I suspected. You can't fool me, and I don't suggest you try. I don't think you should be put in the jury. Beg your pardon. Terribly sorry, but would you mind repeating that? Just give up. What? What do you mean? The prosecution's assertion is correct. Members of the jury may very well decide that that's Marie is guilty. You must have passed the location the instant on the way home, but... I guess we'll raise an objection about it, but we don't have any, like, actual evidence about it. I think he could have gone either way. It's not that much longer. Like, by whatever the triangle distance is, instead of the as the crow flies distance, that's it.
Objection!
Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that is what commonly is referred to as the long way round. On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home? The answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings and is the obvious perpetrator of this crime. No recollection. That is not helpful whatsoever. Bruh.
Guilty.
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 Guilty. Guilty.
Okay. As always, it's gone very well to start. Good gravy, man. What are you on your second bottle and like fourth glass at this point? Serve queen and country admirably. I applaud your resolve. Or your decision making, whatever. Alright, time to convince him otherwise. There's a quarry not yet willing to give up and die. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial? Rights of the defense, written into antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago. Call it antiquated fuel, but it's the defense's prerogative to carry out a summation examination, if it so chooses. Very well, Counsel. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with a summation examination. Yes, this does not seem like a conflict of interest to me. Let us continue. One is upset with the attorney, one is upset with her tenant. Yikes. For pity's sake, oh, he already admitted himself, didn't he? If he said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why, it can only have been the victim. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshelf. Not in winter. He was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful. I really don't care. Can we just wrap this up now? We got work to be doing. More books, yes. Nice shop, that. But bourbon books? No, not worth a visit. With only minor exceptions, the reason for finding the defendant guilty are all too clear. Stabbing occurred. The only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused. And your witnesses, but... he was definitely there. I think we firmly established that. And that he fled. Because, I mean, you know.
Yeah, we're asking that.
That was loud. Why do I gotta... anything, honestly? More work. Man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes. Don't get clever with me now, son. My life's on the line too, and so is my family's. Ah, likes you wouldn't understand, but a laborer like me can't afford to take time off. If I don't work, I don't eat. Neither do the wife and kids. Oh, I see. That must be very hard. I go to the union every morning to find out what needs doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, there's water and grass supply pipes bursting left, right, and center. They're after cheap labor to get the roads dug up to fix it. It's hard slog from dawn till dusk, it is. So, you're out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you? That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, I was just around the corner from where it all happened. by that old bookshop it was. What a nice coincidence. Meerschaum Street. There are only literally 3 named streets on here. What a very convenient thing we have had. Okay, we're gonna pit that against, that.
Objection.
It odds, Council. Explain yourself. Please don't point. It wasn't me, I swear. It's like one would consider the implication of what's been said on our map of the local area. In question, Mr. Natsumi visited the bookshop to buy a number of secondhand books, and on the same day we now know that there was works being carried out on Meerschaum Street, making it impassable, which means the defendant's route home could not have taken him along Meerschaum Street and down Briar Road. Only conclusion is this. The defendant must have taken the longer route back to his lodgings. Well, yes, I suppose he must have. I suppose that must be right, huh? Number 3, you said the following. Man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshelf. But we see now that he had no choice. Bonk. Who? Me? Well, alright then. If there's a hole in the prosecution's argument, it should be filled in, that's what I say. Bonk. I have no idea what to do with the other 2. Other than maybe pressing the maid who lives with them. Always bringing the conclusion to the trial way too early. Every single time. It's exhausting. Okay, why are you here? Whatever's the matter, young man? The wife of Miss Scaredab, aren't you? Landlord who rents Mr. Natsume's room. That's your wife? Where do you get your ideas, sir? I'm the maid, you understand? Keeping up that charade? It's gonna be awkward. Why didn't you mention this yesterday? That you'd been selected for the jury in this trial, I mean. Well, I was told not to mention it to anyone until the day of the trial, you see. It was in the letter I received. The instructions were very clear, so I'm afraid I had no choice. I see. Anyway, he takes lodging in your house, doesn't he? Yes, that's right. Although he's only been in a little over a week now. At that time, surely you must have taken stock of his character. Oh, that's not a good idea. No. Goodness me, yes, he's just the sort. Spending all his time in that dark and dingy room, sporting that unscrupulous mustache. The man never speaks, and don't get me started on those shifty eyes. All the neighbors are talking about him. I've heard them, you know. People think he must be building a bomb in there or something. Oh dear. Poor Mr. Natsumi. How could people say such things about him? Just a harmless bookworm. Nothing more. Well, you just called him a worm, so... Anyway, better be careful about inviting this maid to speak. Yeah... She... ulterior motive or something. What do you got to say about bookstores, old man? Fold it, you say? Fold what? No. What I said was hold it. What I asked you was, do you visit your books often? Well, I like the old books they have in there, yes. Enjoy reading them over a nice cup of old tea. Old tea. Ugh. What time did you visit your books on the day in question? Well, I was picking up books in there all afternoon, and it been just before 5 that I left. It's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about. Ooh, excuse me. I don't forget that day in a hurry. Not after the dreadful time I had. What do you mean? Well, I was walking down Calabash Road when I slipped on the ice and donked my head. It's always worse after the snow stopped falling. That's when it's most slippery. Knocked myself clean out, I did. I really thought my number was up. Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road. So juries are just witnesses that are there on accident, right? We're taking the insane amount of... already insane amount of luck and coincidence and ratcheting up to 11 with these juries. Okay, so we're going to imply that this is the person that he saw fall down. Which makes sense. Okay. So we're gonna pit you against there. I don't know how this is gonna work, but we'll try it. Unbelievable. It's not like I was loud or anything. Or at least one fact, which we can be sure here. You've been to your books and purchased a number of secondhand titles, then returned home on foot. Even if he doesn't have recollection, we can imply other things if every other route is blocked. Someone in a green overcoat who suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes. So we're all well aware of this. Poor young woman was stabbed, obviously. Okay, so we're implying it was the guy instead of the girl. Referring, of course, to hard of hearing juror number 6. Are you really suggesting that the person in the green overcoat whom the defendant saw collapse in front of his eyes was the jolly old gentleman at the end of the bench with me here today? Well, that's entirely possible, yes. Somewhat similar build to the victim. hadn't been so daft as to be roaming about there, would have boxed this off hours ago. Really, what were you thinking wearing such a befuddling coat? What did you say to me? Is it a crime for the elderly to walk the streets these days? Is it a crime to slip over on the ice? Is it a crime to keep up with the latest styles and wear a beautiful green overcoat? Is it? Alright, can we actually finally find the witnesses? Is the crime change your mind? Is it? Well, yeah.
Objection!
Glasses number 4 gone. On to number 5. Seems I must retract my earlier remark. What do you mean? Mistakenly credited these jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet we've just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer.
Objection!
Not tricked anyone. Everything I've said is the truth. Indeed, stalwart juror member number 5 was undoubtedly retiring the road, as it seems. I believe he said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement, which he had excavated. That's right, it took me the whole day, and they paid me a measly tuppence for it. Well, now, my friend, tell me, do you have any notion of the distance that 2 yards represents? Well, if I'm honest, I don't have a clue, no. 2 yards is a little less than 2 meters. Less than 2 meters, that's not much at all. In other words, a distance readily vaulted by anyone of moderate vigor. 6? That's like 6 feet. Say they were around 5 o'clock in the day in question. You slipped and fell on Calabash Road. Was there a suspicious looking Nipponese behind you at the time? Oh, I can't say as I remember. How about a wager, my learned friend? You say it was this old man that the accused saw, but I would lay 1,000 to 1 against you being able to prove it. I want to give this young foreign student the sightseeing experience he no doubt came for. One see for himself how the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. Alright. Hit us with actual witnesses we can work with, please. Says, please state your names and occupations for the court. Is that one scarf that they share? I hope so. Constable Rowley Beat, sir. Nothing to report on the streets, sir. And back to sleep. Alright. And I'm Mrs. Beat. Patricia's my name. Rowley Beat and Pat Beat. Potsdamus, young town hero's wife. Your young town hero is chewing on his chin strap. Well, in truth, we've not been married long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary only the other day. No, it was your husband I was asking about. He seems, tired. Well, hardly surprising. Whilst being an honorable occupation, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world. Oh, really? Apart from rare days off, our gallant officers trudge some 20 miles a day, you know. They patrol boarding houses and pubs, collect taxes, survey the streets, check that the meters are reading true. They're responsible for keeping the streets clean and lighting and extinguishing our streetlights. There are a number of items on that list that don't sound much like policing duties at all. I wouldn't just be falling asleep on my feet, I'd have collapsed long ago. Goes on saying the policeman's primary duty is the apprehension of criminals. Even when he's off duty, Constable is expected to investigate and resolve any crimes on his beat. For London Bobby is a man of honor. And a man of Z's. Walking down Briar Road, and they witnessed the incident as it occurred. Is that not correct, Mr. and Mrs. Beat? That's right, sir. Isn't it, Rogue? That's what he beats him. Nothing to report on the streets, sir. What a great witness he's gonna be. Alright, give me the testimonies. Yes, sir. It's our wedding anniversary. Always taking me out for a meal. There was no time to change after work. Anyway, two silhouettes appeared out of the fog on the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor. Then the other scattered something before running off. We ran straight over, of course, then went for help to a nearby police box. It was definitely that Japanese man in the dock. Willie and I both saw him clear as day. His wife claimed to have positively identified Mr. Natsumi. If their testimony is true, the alternative course of events you established in the summation examination will be quashed. It's death knell, in fact, because that alternative was never viable in the first place. Fortunate but chancing. And on your wedding anniversary, too. Oh, I know. But I still managed to go out for the evening with my man. Thank the Lord for that. Gosh, life of a London bobby sounds very hard indeed. Indeed, however, this cross-examination will be over in minutes. You may well have time to rest this afternoon. Oh, my learned friend, the witnesses saw the face of the man fleeing the scene. They are testifying under oath that it was without a doubt the accused, Mr. Saseki Natsume. And one of these witnesses is a policeman, no less, so you appreciate the gravity of the situation, I'm sure. Except for the man so tired his wife has to do all the talking. Enough preamble, counsel for the defense. Commence the cross-examination, please. Wedding anniversary, taking out for a meal. There's no time to change. Okay, it's fine. Two silhouettes appeared out of the fog on the pavement in front of us. Okay, all of a sudden one of them just collapsed on the floor and the other scattered something. Okay, what did he scatter? What do you mean by that? Oh, well, I couldn't quite make out what it was at the time. But then when we got closer, I realized what it was. Didn't we, darling? Huh? What? Yes, that's right. It was some old books. I saw. The culprit had dropped a number of them all around where the victim lay on the pavement. Rotten Japanese man did that when he did the deed. Let's not forget that it remains to be established the defendant was indeed the attacker. We saw him. It was the man in the dock, without question, son. The mustache, the hunched back, the cat-like eyes, the taut mouth, the snub nose. Everything. Down that poor defenseless woman with those terrifying intense eyes, and then suddenly threw his books down onto the pavement and ran away. Hey, evening, pirate. How you doing? It seems as though they're telling the truth here. May I remind the court that this unambiguous testimony comes from a policeman and his wife. The game loves old racism. It was developed in Japan. But yes. I mean, the 1900s weren't exactly a great time. Straight over it, then went for help in a nearby police box. Okay, we'll press on that too. I mean, we're not getting anything right now. Well, if you're rich, every time period is good if you're rich, man. I don't think that's ever changed. I'd still be mediocre. I'd still rather be mediocre and living here than rich in the 1900s, though. In the 1800s. Oof. More interesting stuff to do these days, I think. Okay, so you guarded the scene of the crime. Depends on the crime's location, you see, as to who deals with it. Where the woman was stabbed wasn't actually on my beat, so I told Patricia the way to the police box where the beat the incident fell under, so she could go and report it. As quick as good. Asked for help from the Bobby on duty. There's nothing more potent than a young couple in love working together, you know. And thanks to your swift response, the case was resolved quickly. The actions of two model citizens. Oh, please, you're making us blush. Isn't he, darling? Breaks neck. Yeah. Let's move on, shall we? Definitely, the Japanese man in the dock. Saw him clear as day. We're gonna have to press on the first two because that doesn't make any sense. There wasn't much on the first two. There's have exceptional eyesight, I have you know. We certainly could. The light from the street lamps was more than enough. And my husband already told you the fog was only light, didn't he? Yeah, what of the fog? Well, we're famous for it across the globe, I believe, but it's an absolute menace to those of us who apply to live with it, of course. Oh, it is, it is. When it's thick, you can't even see the hand at the end of your own arm. Alright, I take your point now. Could you stop shaking your husband about? Constant fog makes our own eyes very sharp, you see. That's why we can tell you for sure and certain that it was that little Japanese man we saw. Can't we, darling? What? Yes. There was the accused, and no mistake. The mustache, the hunchback, the cat-like eyes, the taut mouth, the snub nose... Unmistakable! You think of me, Steve? That's not fair. Alright. Can't be any question. I saw him running away. Yep. Okay. That's it, is it? It's their entire testimony. I guess we'll press the first two as well. It does seem as though Mr. and Mrs. Beats saw what they saw. Started seeing me running away from the scene on Bryant Road that day. Yes, I feel the same. So, if that's true, where does it leave us? The members of the jury are sure to come for a guilty verdict after this testimony. Alright, so just keep pressing until they give up. Okay, we're just gonna keep pressing, so we'll press the first two statements right now. Got any plans for the weekend, Pirate? Job for suffering young men, women, children, and the elderly can't even apply. I think you can probably see why children and elderly can't do the job, can't you? It really looks ever so handsome in his uniform. Suits you to the ground, doesn't it, Tom? Well, I just finished my beat. Pat and I were headed back to the station. Is he talking to sleep? This is creepy. Oh no, I much prefer you in uniform. Sometimes I don't recognize you when I see you in plain clothes. That doesn't seem healthy. Kindly to the point. You're going for a meal after you finish your beat for the day, correct? What's that now? My warrant card, sir. Proof that I'm a London copper. As the noble founding principles of the force are written on it, as a reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty, to patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. Sa, and for such a noble cause, I cover 20 miles every single day without fail and without a grumble. Because I know that the plodding of my boots is all Londoners need to hear to feel safe and secure. So, fighting crime doesn't appear to come into it, then. But, sa, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beat puts up with a lot being married to a Bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. What a charming couple. A little over the top, perhaps? Mr. Lawyer, sir, can I ask you something? Oh, yeah, of course. What is it? Well, you keep asking us all these questions about everything we've told you, so... It seems like you don't believe our testimony. Is that right? Is it? Well, out with it. What? No, no, no. Oh, no, it's really not that at all. Dozens of policemen, remember? And I know what I saw. I remember every last detail. Everything. Oh, I know. What about the books the man dropped? I could tell the names of every single one I could. Every single one. Dare to question how reliable my testimony is. That will do, Mrs. B. No, it won't do at all. Japanese lawyer has no idea what I'm capable of. Even if I decide to forgive him for insulting us, don't think for a minute that Rolly will. I didn't really mean to cause offense. Please put your husband's fist down. I myself, not much going this weekend. Big boy stuff. A couple parties on Saturday that I may and or may not be able to go to. 4 books. Okay, that's a problem. There's only 3. I mean, both of these would work. He only bought 3 books. There's only 3 books here.
Objection.
Okay, that works. So, you're saying there were 4 books? And then, yeah, just taking care of the house and trying to catch up with friends. Catching up with friends is hard, man. There's always someone that you want to connect with that you never seem to be able to do so. Or not often enough. And then other weekends you've got multiple people all vying for your attention, or you're vying for people who have other people vying for their attention. It's a mess. Keeping connected, it's hard. It really is. There are only 3 books, not 4. What? I have a good look at this photograph. Every time I look, it makes me laugh. Yeah, we have a receipt for it. In fact, we've shown it to you before.
Take that!
He always points at the prosecutor rather than like the witness.
Protection.
The photographic print only shows 3 books. Quite right. Only 3 can be seen in that print. The Lion's Pride. Wait, wasn't that the landlord's favorite book? Didn't that burn? It looks burnt. There, you see, look at that. Look. Yes. Just like I said, isn't it, darling? Yes, sir. Patricia's always right, sir. Study the receipt for the books. Speak the titles once again, if you please. Oh yes, of course. Picture of Monsieur Somebody or Other. Classic, yep. Lecoq. What's it, yearnings? Canterbury yearnings. A meal for someone. A meal for Gabarel, in fact. Powers of recollection can only be described as exceptional. Yeah, I got more questions about this book once we get through. Why should the 4th book be omitted from the receipt? It's not odd at all, my lord. This photograph clearly shows the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim. No, let's go through the 4th book, shall we? Just can't waste any more time on this Nipponese tragedy. Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? You have heard all the witnesses and seen all the evidence. This trial has run its course. Am I gonna have to do another summation examination? Please don't do this to me. What do you do now? Yeah, are we just not talking about the incredibly burned section here? No. Terrible waste. Judging from the scorched sections of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently. Book recently damaged by fire. Why does that seem to raise a red flag with me? Because it's quite obvious why. Alright, well in that case, let's raise an objection.
Objection.
No, my learned friend, it's over. The last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. As far as you're concerned, but I can't think of what to say. Seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point. Your insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed. For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this. Oh. So you have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable. Man's great guiding principles is tolerance, so the court will hear you now. Hopefully this new evidence warrants further examination, do you? Yep. I already got it. Yep, I understand. Yep, I've played the games before. Yep. Alright, profound insight, yep.
Take that. Objection.
Trying to avoid a thorough examination. Zzz. Ask the court to observe the back of this book in question, that you apparently haven't looked at before.
Objection!
I can see this point. If it bears no relation to the case, there is nothing to discuss. So, should you wish to assert that this fire damages some veiled clue as to what happened that day? Pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide? It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. I mean, it makes sense. Its owner. Let's call it in. Very well. I'll play along this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. Tell the court, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book? Let me just zoop on by here and boom bam. Let's get this show on the road. Alright. Let's take her off the jury, please. Things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright then, how about a simple question for you? You ever seen this book in Mr. Garadeb's house? I would never presume to know all the books he keeps, sir.
Objection!
This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused landlady, you say? You implicate this hard-working member of the public? You besmirch her without a shred of evidence? Your actions are unforgivable.
Objection!
Actually happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time his victim was stabbed on the pavement below. Another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb's house. Fire. The Lion's Pride.
Objection!
Okay. So what? There's throwing... Oh, no, no, it couldn't be. No. What, she threw a knife out the window and it just thumped into her back? No. No, that... Oh, it is, isn't it? Oh. Oh, it didn't magically remove itself. It was thrown. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was... marital discord. Apparently, she continued to attack Masquerade even amidst the flames. How awful. I can't even imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you roll it? Absolutely not, sir. My Patricia would never raise a finger against me, sir. Was thrown through a window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime. Which means the knife could have, too. No sign of broken glass, but that would mean the window was open. I mean, it's a fire. Bro, there was a fire. Let's postulate the scenario in all seriousness, Counsel. Do you earnestly claim the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile flown? Yeah, I do. Yep. I believe it's a possibility, my lord. What, they're just gonna let the smoke fill up their house? It's quite enough. Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now, you little foreign trickster. House of Lore, but you're just a coward. A mean coward. Claiming their little tiff set the whole neighborhood alight. Honestly, implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance's sake. How could you? It's nothing to do with this beastly case. Not any of it. All you've done is sully our family's name. No, I assure you that was never my intention. I'm trying an upstanding citizen's name through the mud simply to divert attention from your failing defense. It's the next person. Here we go. How long have we sat here now listening to this nippany? Oh my god, all the... only person who could have possibly stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with the mustache, and he ran away from the scene, too. I do declare. Oh my gosh. How is it having two people connected to us hating us on the jury is okay? Ugh. Ladies and gentlemen, the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Van Seeks? Well, in truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessarily protracted proceedings, but then one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage. Like your 6th glass that you're probably going to ruin. Mystery of the 4th book still hasn't been. Books are your predilection, my lord friend. Study them on your own time. Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to respond to that either. Maybe he didn't either. What? No, forgive the discourtesy this time. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're gonna have to do a second summation examination.
Guilty.
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 Guilty. Guilty.
Bro, if she murdered someone, of course she's gonna vote guilty. Oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. That's twice now. It's over. No, it's not. We can do it again. Alright. Let's do it again. Still pretty certain about the theory that they just killed someone by throwing a knife through a window, but maybe not. Yes, continue to be annoying. Examination, let's go. Hughes left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. There was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed by my reconsider. I told you, throw through the window. If the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed. The window was not closed. Yep, he wants to get paid. I don't see anything about that. Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. Gave me the sneezes. I think this old man's the key to everything. We're going to press him on it. Considerably more tangible arguments from all the members of the jury this time around, it seems. One notable exception, of course. Hmm. 6 glasses. He's going to go through a dozen. Okay. Continue to press. I'm going to press Mr. Fire himself. Stab the woman in half. These 2 details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted. I mean, I could tell you, but I don't think you're going to like it. Oh, she's obnoxious. Oh, we can keep an eye on how she reacts to other people. Oh, and the witnesses are in the background. That's kind of neat. I like that. Okay, yep. Book. Yep. Okay. We're pressing the guy who talks about sneezy fires. Sorry, what's that? You'll have to speak up. Could you tell us more about that fire? Well, it was last winter. My grandchildren make me a lemon cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on the top, it did. What a sight to behold it was. Put candles on a cake? What, was it some kind of devil worship? Of course not. It was an angel cake to celebrate my birthday, obviously. 75 candles. That's the majority of the cake. It's gonna just be a wax cake. Flames didn't go out, but candles went flying all over the room. The furniture caught and everything went up. Whole place filled with smoke. That is how fires work, yep. Definitely sounds like devil worship to me. How'd you catch a cold from the fire? Fiasco was. Grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames, and then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows. Really? This is... I couldn't just prove this by using basic logic that if there's a fire in a house, they would open the windows to clear the smoke out? Oh, it's fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I knew it was devil worship all along. Who, apart from assuming to attack the young woman on the street, I already know. We're looking at her. She's in the jury, which seems like a very unassailable position. Just a connection, not necessarily contradictions. And that's kind of what we've been doing already, so that's not anything new. Evidence, yeah, books. Window wasn't closed.
Objection!
Oh my.
You alright there?
Excuse me!
How you doing over there? Something to say about that? Dear, what is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am? It's imperative that you confirm something for the court, so please, it's time to drop the pretense now. What is it? When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open a window? God, I would hope so. And what if we did? Alright then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can't have been easy, since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering. Even though your house was on fire. Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. Of course, I should have realized. So you can step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You managed to establish that the window was open. You simply must have that added to Mr. Garrideb's formal statement. Window was open at the time, I've forgotten it, but it's true. Okay.
Objection.
Hold it!
I'm sorry, but as foreman of the jury, I have to object. It's complete. They opened. Oh my gosh. There's no contradiction as far as I can see. Okay, fine. We'll put it against someone else's that's just as similar. Aye, aye, aye. Let's throw on this, shall we? That's great. Talk more about the murder weapon. Okay.
Hold it!
Yeah, but there's 4 books. The point is, Fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened. Maybe I pull on this then? Now that his thing has changed. I said, how long was the street?
Hold it!
Title of the book is literally that. Okay. So it did make it across then.
Oh boy.
What is...
Excuse me.
What's up with you, bud? You know something? I remembered what it was. That memory I'd blocked out. Weeks ago, put my hand in the pocket for the wages I just earned, and I nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny had dropped out. Okay. No words, just terror. Smell it then, you know, that god-awful stench of the Thames. I'm sure I was gonna face down the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. Now, that's a real disaster, isn't it? I'll never use the word lightly again. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When rumors arrive, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it.
Objection.
Okay. I'll take that. Do you think perhaps that this could be one such novel alternative? Throwing knives, man. The knife. The heckin' knife. Really taking a big gamble here. Bold accusation to make, but I haven't any real evidence to back it up. That's nothing. Certainly, at the very least, this warrants further investigation. Alright, trying to explain the defense's theory. The only object that found its way from the Gyarados household to the scene of the crime was... Boop, 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 boop. Bam. This is the silliest thing, if this is actually true. Must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. You ever seen this knife before? Float the window across the street to land neatly in her hand. I don't know if couldn't she have just picked it up and it like landed in her back? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, we just end it right now. It's good. Hey, Matt. How you doing? Okay, well, we've defended it successfully a second time. Alright, how does the prosecution wish to proceed? I think he's gonna smash a 7th glass, guys. This trial's rapidly descending into a farce. Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough. Dude goes through a dozen a court case. But when follows is so repugnant, it's good for nothing save the gutter. Francis just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense's argument is a joke, to which I barely know how to respond, but let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourself better with the relative positions of those places being discussed. Yeah, we know. It'd be a heckin' far throw. Excuse me. 15 yards. I mean, that's not impossible. Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry rightly noted having portentous significance. The 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smoldering book wantonly hurled by the lady of the house traveled some 50 yards. It would be for you. Oh. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. You've got strong gams. Nice gams. Jackknife follow a near identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back. This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable... I've seen some pretty far out there ones. Nah, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. There's nothing I can say to that. Boop, 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 boop. I love cats that just smash their face into yourself because they're trying to rub their scent on you. It's adorable. Just big headbutts. Once postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning. Such court has duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, juror number 4, calling you to the stand. Yep. Cross-examination of a juror. Yep. Yes, I'd like to cross-examine the lady who continues to vote guilty for her tenant, which seems incredibly suspicious as the court case goes on. It's unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand. Well, there's the second bottle gone. And unnecessary. There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. My learned friend's farcical theory has any truth to it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before this couple's eyes. We must assume they would be able to testify accordingly. Seems like you're defending somebody there, Mr. Prosecution. Sorry for dozing until now, sir. I haven't slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared on my beat, sir. So heroic, these London bobbies. Patricia, my darling, I've been neglecting you, but no more. What are you trying to attack? That's your bed. Yeah, you've got a bed. Also, kind of bad idea for a person related in some way to a defendant to be a juror. Yeah, 2 of them are related to the case because we tried to prosecute the first one. It was incorrect. Fuck. But still holds a grudge for it. You're a very violent cuddler, you know that, cat? Extremely volatile and violent. Case has nothing to do with them. Okay, that's not helpful. On the top floor are topped hinge casements. If anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. Didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment. What does the top hinge mean? And it... Oh no. Cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable. Oh, and now you're asleep. Alright, now I can't move my hand. We're playing one-handed the rest of the time. Top hinged casement window. How is that in your book about law? Top window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the window. Oh no. So we'd go... Oh boy. So it would have gone straight down. Just thrown through the open window would have gone, like, clattered against the pane, fallen straight down to the pavement below. Okay, but the book got into her hand, so... What does that mean? Did this not occur where they're saying it occurred? And if so, why? Or are the windows different? I don't know. There's never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered. Something we've discounted already. Now, every time you get a new clue, that just means you reevaluate your theory and make it fit the clues that you have. Did you see it? The young Japanese man just collapsed in agony. I saw it. I saw how he crumbled before me. How is this happening? I haven't even started the cross-examination yet, and already my argument's been destroyed. My lord. Got another desperate situation. Alright, I guess we'll just start pressing, because I don't think we have anything right now that tells us anything good. I'm even going to press on the stuff that doesn't make sense at this point. There's no real obvious presses. We've shown that before. What's so interesting about it, though? Bum bum bum. Bum 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 bum. Oh boy. Boom 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 boom. It's like you and all your countrymen to understand the great British institution of Scotland Yard, so I hope you'll take back some tales of us London bobbies, how we uphold our guiding principles. Okay, so... Alright, so what's in here? This one will strive to preserve the peace from his allotted beat, within his allotted beat. Expected to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for the person's community relations. Any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. When the crime is discovered, must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Why would that be important? Yeah, and this is just going to go over the windows again, but we're pressing everything so that we can be for sure that we need to present a contradiction. Hello, man. Good morning. It's been so hard for somebody to mention this top pins casement thing before. How do you even know? Why would you have any idea what sort of windows the house is furnished with? Oh, well said. That was very simple. You see, I helped with the investigation yesterday.
Excuse me.
Something to add, Mrs. Pete? Look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that? Oh, I was just remembering. That's all. We really were so lucky. Lucky? What do you mean? Of course I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. But we were just so lucky it didn't happen on Rolly's beat. It was so close, you see. That street, that's the boundary between Rolly's beat and the next one. Isn't that right, my love? So potentially moving the body out of the beat would mean they wouldn't have to investigate it anymore. And if it happened where we think it happened, the book and the knife could have fallen there. If they'd been attacked on the other side, we wouldn't have been able to go to our wedding anniversary. Pavement where the victim was found lies just outside the beat.
Hold it.
Doesn't need to cross the sky, it can just fall.
Hold it.
You sure it wasn't disturbed by Rolly? That's right, yes. But Rolly's beat would have known exactly where I was going, of course. Don't feel bad. You can't be expected to know the location of every police box on every beat. So Rolly told me the way, only I sort of got a little lost on the way. Just my darling. That's why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me. Oh, please. So I suppose I was gone for about 15. Like I said, Rolly was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed. He was off duty at the time, of course, but true Bobby is never really off duty, so... Didn't take my off-crime scene for one moment. Nothing strange to report on that front. It just seems like it's very convenient. This is similar to the second case, where it just seems like a bunch of unfortunate accidents. Without murderous intent. Except the second one kind of had a little bit of murderous intent. That kitten was, deadly. Burnt copy was originally in the household, so the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? Could it be a different copy? One that just happened to be burnt as well? Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As you can see from this photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. Well, so, that book was in the lady's hands from the moment we arrived at the scene. That knife in her back, how that book ended up in her hand. Must be some common thread between them. Can I ask you something, please, Mr. Lawyer, sir? Yeah, of course. What is it? You're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell. I wasn't really. I mean, what's she doing? Please, just because I'm a woman doesn't make my testimony any less valuable. You might just see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am. I really don't remember even suggesting that I doubted you. No excuses. I don't want to hear it. My voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you? Yes, Mrs. Bean, I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you so desire. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one. That was a very loud mutter. She's about to say something that will help us out, I think. I know what I saw. My eyes never let me down. My sense of direction is a little off sometimes, though.
Hold it!
That evening, I saw it clearly. That little Eastern man, with whiskers and funny, curved back, slinking away from the scene. Okay. I didn't see as well. Didn't see any flaming books or knives flying through the sky. All very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction.
Excuse me.
Same thing happened to this evening. Was I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while. Is there a bouquet in any of these pictures? feel like we would have noticed it.
Hold it!
Okay, so now we press on the bouquet. Okay, was dropped at the scene of the crime. That's right. Oh, I was so upset. Ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife in her back. I was so shocked. I dropped the bouquet Rolly gave me. It was in a dark spot where the streetlights weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice at first. And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on. Yeah, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see. So I spotted my bouquet again, but funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all. In case you need a riding speed, the victim is not deceased. It's all flustered for a moment, for I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road. Your husband, presumably? That's right, silly me. I'd gone over to the wrong side of the street. But the bouquet was... I mean, either the body moved or the bouquet moved, and one of those is a lot more incriminating. Someone moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite. Or the different thing. Worst of it is, I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the scene. Beautiful rose rolling by me, with that change from the gutter he spent so long collecting. By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this sorry, solitary rose? Yes, that's it. It's a bouquet Rolly bought me for our anniversary. It's the chains he found in the gutter. Forgot to ask how his married life. Oh, it's great. Yeah. I mean, nothing's really changed. We got married after years of living together, as kind of strangely all of you know. Or at least most. Yeah, I mean, basically, when we moved in together, it was the trial run for getting married. And the engagement was just kind of a formality. That was nice. And then getting married, just kind of like the next step. It's nice, but it doesn't change too much. It's just kind of like the next level. But the levels are very, like, small and incremental at this stage, you know? We're already, you know, living life together. But it is nice. It is nice to be married to someone that you actually, you know, love and want to spend the rest of your life with. But I would have done that regardless of if we were officially married or unofficially. Found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Garadeb household. Did these guys accidentally kill someone with a knife and a book? For good measure, this rose should be added to the court record as evidence. I'll meet for dinner next time on the frozen lot. Sure. Sounds good. It is gonna get frozen real heckin' soon. Though it's still in the 50s here, so, I mean, probably got another month before it's, like, really full fall cold, but... It was dropped where you stood. He moved the body. He didn't want it on the beat. It wasn't even, like, nasty. There wasn't any malice behind it. He just didn't want it on his beat so he can actually have his anniversary dinner. That's gotta be what it is. Okay, nothing strange to report, and yet I've got an interesting little piece of evidence here that says otherwise. Nothing important 15 or so minutes regarding the scene, but that can't be. Friend up to your right side is still crazy mild. Oh yeah, it is. It's, you know, global warming and stuff, really. And just the other day I was sweating outside, which shouldn't happen mid-October here, but it did. But as every person knows here, it changes with, like, instantaneous. It's ridiculous. One day it'll be like 55, 60, and the next day it's like, we've frosted over everything. All your plants are dead. The end. You didn't plan for this, and now your windshield's been frosted over for the next 20 minutes, and you're late. Now it's blown in the wind across the street back into the gutter where it... Okay. Nice to be rude, Van Zeeks. If that were the case, though... Why did Constable Beat not testify to the fact... No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. It belonged to me. Nothing to do with the case. That's why Rolly didn't mention it, I'm sure. No, because sadly, it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. God, his stare is terrifying. Think about it. Besides Mrs. Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Garrett's book. Copy of the Lion's Pride, which was thrown out the window by his wife. Would have struck the pane of the casement window and landed here on the west side of the street, and yet... Voop. It was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. Beat's bouquet should have been dropped here, at the scene of the crime on the east side of the street. But in fact, it was actually found here, on the opposite side of the road in front of the house. Snow I seen there was crazy. Went from snow to your knees, and there was none before. Yeah! Yeah. Lake effect is something that's like only in our state, because, you know, Great Lakes. Where just disgusting storms will start up for no reason. I think it'll just be normal. It'll hit the lake. Then it's like, alright, now you're getting 6 inches of snow. Also, it's going to be really blowing wind around, so some places will have 2 inches of snow, and the other will have 11. And that 11 will be on the road. And the 2 will be, like, in another inconvenient place. And it's not just one, you know, we're surrounded, you know. Got Superior up there, so, like, Houghton and everything in the UP gets hit, like, wild amounts. Huron can punch back the other way. Yeah, it can happen overnight in, like, just a snap. And then there's also the regular storms that, like, hit everybody else as well. You know, the nor'easters that hit New York and New Hampshire and New Jersey and anything else that's new. New Mexico. Deliberately meddling with the scene of a crime is a criminal offense. It's called, tampering. The person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it for a very subtle but compelling reason. It do be wild, Matt. You know. Would possibly have caused to carry out such an elaborate deception. Well, there's somebody who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening. All the evidence and all the testimony points to that one particular person. Counsel, I must demand that. Yep. I'm accusing a police officer of tampering.
Take that!
Boom. Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. So he sent you over. He tampered with it. You have a terrible sense of direction, so you didn't even understand that it had changed sides of the street.
Objection!
Objection!
Yeah, the taxi driver was driving like crazy. Like, it was normal. I had a heart attack, 'cause no one could even see out the window. Yeah, you can tell someone who's driven in a snow before and someone who, like, you know, is there for college, because the ones in college are driving, you know, like barely treaded muscle cars and or luxury vehicles, and spinning their tires on like a half-inch of snow. And the Michigan drivers, you know, will go through. They'll hit like a big snowdrift. It'll start like turning the car a little bit, and you're just like, I've calculated this. This is fine. And you're going like 15 degrees in the wrong direction the whole time. Doesn't matter. It's fine. The only time I've ever, quote-unquote, crashed in the snow was because I had a huge hill at the top of my house. And I went as slow as I had my brakes on the whole way down the hill. And then still slid into the ditch. It was like 5 seconds and they pulled me out. But, you know, that's the only time. Everything else, you know, I'm just so used to it. I've had big snowdrifts, like, lift my car up as I'm going, so at some point, like, maybe 2 of my tires are touching. It's fine. It's alright. We'll get down there eventually. My favorite snow moment, like a big on-ramp, so you know, like a big circle. My mom we were going like 20 miles an hour on this snowbank, and we were turning, and then we were turning a little too much, and suddenly we're horizontal to the the on-ramp, and then we just kind of like slid into a ditch. Like everything was normal. I was playing like Pokemon Platinum or something at the time. It was a while back. And that was a while back. Oof, that was over 10 years ago. I'm graying a little around the temples. It's just like, this doesn't seem particularly correct as we're sliding into the ditch. Matt, you've totaled a car before in snow? You're not the only one. Not me. But Scott also. One of my oldest friends. Decided to do donuts in the parking lot of some random, you know, local grocery store. And got stuck, not in like a snow drift, but he actually like got stuck on like one of the big piles of snow that snowplows push in and like leave there for the entire year. Hide where the victim fell. I feel like the case is almost over. I think we've got it. That wasn't at fault. Lady driving in front of me had NASCAR illegally bald levels of tires. That is also true. Not all of us are smart drivers, still. Some of them are very bad drivers. Very, very bad drivers, still. And even if you're not, you can get hit by one. My car was totaled by a 15-year-old who didn't have her license and was driving illegally. So... it happens. Oh, their scarf does connect. It's one very long scarf. That's adorable. So that's your assertion. The court is dying to know. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening? Here. The same place I've always been. Ay, 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 ay. It's on the opposite side of the road. I don't understand. Thought you had to have them chain things on the tires? Nah. Those are good for traction. If you're, like, going off-road, or, like, having to do a lot of stuff like snow plowing or stuff, right? Because then your truck is... like actually needing traction more often than not.
Objection.
Or whatever you're driving. Otherwise, no, just like decent snow tires and a driver who's seasoned. It's 5 o'clock in the evening, already dark. There's a typical London fog. Or snow on roads more year-round, so Canada, Alaska. Not so much of a shit. Yeah, that's true. Also, we just don't have it on the road that much, but when it is, it's nasty. Though, I mean, I've had nails in my tires. Of course, those were 2 tires, because I was motorcycling on a frozen lake. But, you know. Transplanted the crime scene. Because fingerprints don't heckin' exist at this point. Apparently. Or I guess he wouldn't have been fingerprinted. Prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Zeek said it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. American rules are so confusing because they're so different state to state. That's why I just never want to move. Ever. All done. Just stay put where I'm at. Oh, well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important? Probably. It isn't true, is it? What the lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know. You just wanted an anniversary dinner. Exposed. Boom, boom. I mean, I don't have any, like, evidence about his specific anniversary, so I guess we're just gonna send that in as evidence. It seems fine. Okay, so, I mean, I think it's pretty much open and shut, but I'm sure the maid is gonna drag us into more problems. And it'll have to do with the broken tip on that knife, wherever the heck that'll be. Then it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, and what that meant for me. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Mm-hmm. It's just sad. I don't like these ones because they just make me sad. We've had two and like a half cases where like it's just an accident and or we're defending a murderer. I think this pretty much seals it. So she had the book. Did she reach down to grab the book and then the knife lands in her back? I would assume. Thought it was a shut case at the time. See, there are only the two people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw it happen. However, when you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who'd done it. I thought. Couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it at all over the road would make a jot of difference. Suppose this is it for me now. I've had it. My lord. I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw. For now, you're free to go home. The police will contact you in due course. Okay, so we've given him a freebie on that one. I mean, I guess. Accused is the only person who could possibly have committed this crime. Nope. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there's someone else. The person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. The prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already. Very well. Name the person if you will, and if further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing. Ouch. Boop, 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 boop.
Take that! Objection!
Objection!
I don't recall it.
Objection!
Oh. Nope, he's not happy. Make no mistake, you jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to the judicial process. If you know something about this knife, madam, let the truth come out. But It's just a commoner garden knife. Could have come from anywhere. We have several like that at home. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know? Evidence. I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist on this being my fault. You're going to have to prove to me that I threw that knife, if that's what you think. Come along now. Chop chop. Do your worst. Prosecution does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman. Alright. I don't approve this. This is such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. I'm here in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer. Witness, state your name and occupation. Oh, yes, my name is Joan Garrett. Well, I'm a juror and such like. Sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a housewife or a maid, or what anymore. Of course, sign your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. Do you understand, madam? Yes, my lord. I'll tell the court everything that took place in your household on the evening in question. And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth. Shut up, Joan. Nothing to worry about now. It was only you in the room that day, old thing, was it? I thought I ought to testify as well, don't you? But what about your need? Don't you worry about that. Hardly knows it. Not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone. Second Lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland Fusiliers, sir. May represent a first in the proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. Then do your jury selection better. Good lord. Ugh. The Battle of Garadeb. Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out, though, and got the window open. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him. Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I noticed one or two went missing, I'm afraid. That bally thing in the victim's back really was one of ours. You'll have a job proving it, I think. Sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening. Though an entirely one-sided assault, it seems. The enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast. Of course, a veteran such as myself is only too aware that on every battlefield you're just a gnat's whisker from death at any moment. Okay, pressin' time. The last cross exam, huh? Alright. Let's see if we can pull this out. What are you referring to? I've been doing a bit of skirmish. Can't recall the reason. I know the reason. One candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Whatever I could find to throw at him.
Hold it!
Oh, the room was on fire? Well, as far as I was concerned at the time. It was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. What a woman wants to throw, she must throw. It's most certainly not true of Susato takedowns. How did she know I was thinking that? So, please cast your mind back and try to remember. Was a knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day? In all honesty, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see. Some bread, a cabbage, garlic, a towel, and a sponge, a napkin.
Jupiter. Excuse me.
There's something to answer. Try for Mark now. Just bring something to mind. Not of any significance, no. Just that barrage projectile assaulting launched in my direction was somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and the fire poker, I seem to recall. And the woman's aim is uncanny. She landed direct hit with every belly roll. Good grief. We're not at home now. This is a court of law. Ever so sorry, sir. What's she even doing with the teapot in here? Honestly, John, I would never have thrown such things at you, obviously. She's not sorry. No, not at all. Take a look at this then. I suppose that happened. Your pipe, sir? Is that where we're gonna find the missing piece? Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles she did, yes. When I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. I'd like to see a sponge do that sort of damage. Anyway, managed to bandage this thing up for now. You're one to exaggerate, aren't you, dear? She's assaulting someone on this thing. Yeah, she was assaulting him a couple weeks ago, too. It could be important.
Objection!
War veterans' words only tell us one thing. Betray a fiery wife, and pipes, as well as hearts, may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony. This is one of those mysteries where you get right near the end, and then they frustratingly drag it out because they find a technicality. Oh. Is the pipe conveniently going to have that piece of the night? Of course it is. It's Ace Attorney. Okay, so let's go double check everything here. Bruh, you just keep that in there? Just a knife shard? Surely it couldn't be the exact thing we need. Surely not. A tiny piece of metal found in the chamber, squared up pipe. Blade. Yeah, I know. Put it on the blade. Put it on the blade. Put it on the blade. Oh, yeah, there's something niggling me too. Oh. Okay. Let's go back to the knife. Okay. Open the knife. Squeak. Yeah, right here. The missing tip. Yeah. Please. I beg of you. Put one and one together. Just one and one together. That's all I'm asking. A perfect fit! Wow! Bum, bum, bum. The quest was turned in. Oh no, it's fine. So we have some new evidence to work with. I have already examined it carefully. Teleport about the knife used to attack the victim. Yeah, where's the can't say I noticed one or two missing, I'm afraid. That belly thing that was like really was one of ours, you have a job proving it. Nope. Every cross-examination, you start with you either do a contradiction or you press. As soon as you find evidence, you know that you can, in fact,
Objection.
make it into a contradiction. Except for special cases. Like the last case usually gets real tricky. You might get multiple pieces of evidence in a round, or, you know, multiple things that you can press and add to the testimony, but only one of those things is correct. I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest. Oh, he does, dear me. It's rather wearing being asked about every other letter and every other word. You must be very dizzy. Where did he come by the evidence? He gave it to me like 5 minutes ago. Are you watching? Are you drinking? Yes, I am suggesting it is very much related. No, it's okay, this is not that hard, but we've had to make harder connections earlier. Oh, she's on a crate. Oh, that's adorable. Alright, that's hilarious. Present the pertinent evidence. I am trying to do so. I have been trying so hard to do so. Okay. If you look closely, you'll see that there is a small piece of the tip of the blade that we found 2 hours ago. Tips lodged in the victim's bones. Gah. Ooh.
Objection.
The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1, and yet it always happens to me because I'm the luckiest son of a gun alive. Knife ricocheted out the pipe, flew out the open window, and then went thump right into a back. At least you didn't kill anyone. She's gonna recover. Probably. Oh gosh. Oh dear. Oh. Got him. Oh, and he's like... He's got a very, like, worn back... I mean, it does make it look like he just had a fiery poop and it burned all down, but that's besides the point. Full-bodied theory, I'll give you that. Complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged, create an almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument. After all, it is just theory. A game theory. Because you see, again with the boots, man. Inconsistency. Oh my god, what? Consistency of the simplest nature, my lord. Victim was found with a knife planted in the middle of her back. God. That's right, silly little man. What's the whole thing? What are you getting so excited about? That's like the 8th class, man. It was in her hand already, so she picked it up. She leaned over. It's not that hard. Guys, come on. I'm bad at these things, and I know this one. God, I know next case we're just going to be terrible. Oops. In repayment for this case. I knew it. I never liked his theory in the first place. I don't know, though. What really did happen? It's not that hard. Come on. Eliminate the one inconsistency. That's literally it. And then we're good.
Objection.
But the book fell first, and picked that up first. Once I've been over. Yeah, we've been here. This happens occasionally in Ace Attorney games. You jump 2 steps ahead of where the game is, but since it's a visual novel, you cannot, and therefore have to go step by step, even if you jump 2 steps ahead. It's a flaw, but it's like a necessary flaw if you want to tell a convincing story like this. Or at least a coherent one. It works in stuff like puzzle games, because if you jump ahead, it's probably accounted for it, because that just means you're advanced. Outer Wilds is a very good example of that, where we theoretically have all the tools already, we just don't know how to apply them. And as we learn more and more, we can go back to older areas and say, oh, we could have done... this was always allowed. You know, you put up with it. It's funny. You meme on it. You joke and josh around. Surely this must be the last... I'm all out of stuff if it isn't. Yeah, it's the book. Just give me the book. 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 Ah, music stopped. We got it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Man, I wish they used the objection theme marks. It's a bop. Use it like once a case. Maybe. And this isn't even like the strongest part. I thought the cop moving the body was a more interesting objection that came true. By Jingo. This is why they didn't want to make it another murder. This is the first non-murder, I think, in the entire series. Theoretically, not even attempted. It's like accidental manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, whatever, woman slaughter. God. Someone fell from the room above. Jackknife. Don't want to go for walks in the city now. Might get knifed from the sky. You know, it happens. God, he looks like a JoJo villain. He's about to release his stand. Just as angry, too. Never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place. No, this was nothing more than a series of unfortunate events. That is the real truth behind this case. Get chumped. Maybe Von Zieks will take us seriously now. Probably didn't last time because, you know, the evidence tampering and getting a murderer off innocent. This time, though, we did good. The very time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. Wonder if perhaps it might have been something like that. Is there, old bean? Maybe I shouldn't have rage-induced sessions of violence. Should I self-reflect? No. Just sad. Dead. Okay, so can we... More like poor dead person? Not dead! She recovered! Like I said, this is the first non-murder that's actually happened in the series. Which is why it makes sense that they would have these kind of innocent type crimes. Similar to what happened in episode 2, except I was accused of murder in that one, so a little more personal. Even in the ones where you think there's no murders in Ace Attorney, there's gonna be a murder later. There always is. Always. Always. I've played every single other game besides these two. Even the ones... Well, now just one. Even the one that hasn't released in the West I've played, because the translation is... magnificent. Death. Always death. Sometimes multiple deaths. Mostly just one death. Give me that not guilty verdict. We were befooled by this spirit and led to false accusations. But thanks to the guy who was trying to prosecute, and also the guy that actually solved it, that chain has been broken, and the spirit exorcised. It needed to get in shape. It was looking a little chubby. Yeah, give me that not guilty. This guy just wants to go back to work. I'm not sure that guy could hear any of the story, but, you know, maybe.
Guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Alright, get me out of here. Please. Get this poor man's drawn eyebrows out of here.
Sir, how can I help you?
Oh my god. Why are these links going wrong? Nobody send me any more links. They're too loud. Okay. Let's get through it. Let's get through it. Very happy. Yes, yes, yes. Well, Holmes's stuff was exactly what we needed. It's just finished. What? No! My haste was in vain? This is the man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, I see. Failed to recognize you at first. Previous encounters have taken place in the gloom. Either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. Seems like I can place that curious face in the light. confused. You weren't even found guilty. But there's no bright side. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Okay, so he's heading back. That makes sense. Okay. Coming to a hotel at present, are you not? That's right, but we need to find lodging before it bankrupts us. Can't believe we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted. Hold on. Take my lodgings. Oh, the windowless room? But what it lacks in windows, it more than makes up for with a floor, ceiling, and walls. Great. I'd happily find all the cursed evil spirit. Right, there was that whole thing with the clowny actor, and then some other dude had an argument that lived there also, but that just fell to the wayside. They're gonna show up next case. Why, I don't know. Ooh, lodgings with Herlock Sholmes. Don't mind if I do. Oh my god. Please. The post-case stuff. I get it. You're going to Japan. I'm tired. Let me rest. Please. And so, with Saseki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home. And that's where we stopped and didn't have any more dialogue, right? Son of a... Oh, and I gotta pay attention because I'm sure this is gonna come up in the next case. Because it's the last case of game 1. It's be our new office, yes. I rather like the sound of that. Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it? Looking dapper and a little less crazy. You're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So once again, Mr. Naruhodo, welcome to London. This whole first game has felt like an introduction for the second. Spent 2 cases getting here. The third case was like a forced introduction, and then we had like an intro case. It wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay beneath it. I am really excited for case 5. No doubt about it, but I'm also exhausted. These are long cases. This was a second case, or sorry, second half of the case. First half still took a long time. The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. Hound of the Baskerville. Alright, we gotta play this soon. But I'm tired. I'm going to rest. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope y'all enjoyed it. But, for now, adios. We'll be back on Monday. We'll finish Outer Wilds. Then I have no idea what we're gonna do. Darkest Dungeon 2's out of early access, but I don't really like doing early access stuff because it just makes me feel like we're missing stuff. Solar Ash was supposed to come out on Tuesday. Got delayed for a month and a half. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But Monday we'll finish the Outer Wilds. And thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. Have a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed it. Next time we do this, we'll start off with the last case of the first game. Until then, toodles.